So, now that I've reintroduced myself and had a 12-minute rant on something very serious, I would like to end the night on a lighter note. And in my reintroduction video, I referred to a Lisbon nightlife video that I had made last year, which was awful, awful. And I would like to say very briefly my opinions on Lisbon nightlife, which are as follows. It's awful. I really, really dislike Lisbon at night on Friday and Saturday. It is the pits. Um, Bairro Alto or Bairro Alto is the main place where people go, and lots of old streets. The place itself is really old, like 500 years old. In fact, it celebrated its 500th anniversary this year. It's old, so you have lots of hills. Well, hills. I mean, lots of long streets, lots of little, very small, narrow, all going up, and lots of inclination, I should say. And the idea itself isn't so bad. And honestly, on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or even a Sunday night, I mean, yeah, bring it on. I mean, 50-cent shots is great, and especially if you're American. I mean, you're from a place where alcohol going out is really expensive. I mean, having a 50-cent or €1 beer is like heaven. And then, yeah, it's very affordable. It's great. People usually speak English too, or Spanish. So I mean, so there are lots of great things that Guanajuato has, depending on what you're looking for. Me, I like that. I like the idea of cheap drinks. Don't so much like the huge crowds of loud British tourists. I mean, I don't like them so much. Not because they're British, and not because they're tourists. It's just they're loud and they're annoying and they're kind of all in the way. And then there's like all the locals and the natives too. And then it's just too crowded. It's too many people, and all these. I just find it very unpleasant. And everyone smokes. Everyone smokes here. So if you're a non-smoker like me, then that's a major problem, obviously. Whether you're inside, you're outside, it's very loud. I mean, I can't hear myself think very often. I mean, it's just you can't move. I mean, I always feel like crushed in a tin can, sardine in a crushed tin can. Uh, that's by Hualtu. Um, and then, of course, if you're gay, like me, then it also has a corner, a little small little area with a few places. The drinks are more expensive. Places aren't so nice. I mean, it's the usual typical crap of, you're just kind of, this isn't a beer, but I'll pretend it's a beer. So you're just having a beer, blah blah blah, and then you're just looking at guys and they're trying to have sex with you or not, but everyone's staring and looking and they're pretending to have, a conversation about something that isn't. Does this person want to fuck me, or do I want to fuck this person? And it's that's my usual experience of nightlife in general, especially here. I mean, I don't have so many experiences elsewhere, but at least here, that is very often what it boils down to. And but anyway, that's Bajualto, which is that area. Further up those in very inclined, steep streets, is a place called Príncipe Real, or the Real Prince, or the Real Prince. That's more of the gay area, but it has over the past year developed into like chic places, nice ones, things for everyone, anyone. It's a nice area. It's a very nice area. It's one of my favorites in Lisbon. So it's a great place to go. It's much quieter, more space for sure. Uh, I'm personally more attracted to more elegant things, nicer places. So if I go out, I would like to go to Príncipe Real as one option, the primary one even, because you have a couple of nice places, you have some kiosks, have a nice garden, you can sit outside if you want, and then down the street, still Príncipe Real is another garden where all the gay bars are, around, basically the garden and all the gay bars are around. And so, you have your options. You have your options, and in the gay section, variety isn't great. You have about 6 or 7 bars, and there's a couple, like in addition to the ones in Bairro Alto, there's about 6 or 7 in Príncipe Real, most of them gearing towards bears, and not my style. There's one particular devoted more to younger people, to a younger crowd, a bit thinner. It's the oldest one in Lisbon. It's called a 106. You have to knock on the door most days. That place is, well, out of all these gay bars, I'm not personally fond of any of them. Um, but I mean, it's a pretty part of town, and if you want to have, you know, if you like to have a conversation with someone, and it's a good place to go. Now, beyond those two places, the main place would be a place called Santos, which is below by Hualto. It's a bit further away, and that's more for, like late high school, young university students. It's more towards them, more for them. I mean, I find them quite annoying. Luca lives there. Luca lives in Santos, and his building is pretty much in the heart of it. So is you know every night. But the worst part though is obviously dealing with these young kids. They piss on his door. They piss inside the lobby of his apartment complex. It's really interesting. I mean, they have a park next to the house in front of all the bars, and they recently renovated the garden, and they all shove their beer cans and beer bottles and cigarette butts and cigarettes everywhere inside the garden. Why can't they piss in the garden too instead of a domicile? So, I mean, Santush is the shots are really, really, really cheap. Again, it's very, very cheap. You got to deal with a bunch of 19-year-olds, but it's okay, right? But then of course, but that's just like bars and like having drinks and blah blah. Okay, so to have restaurants on like going out like on a date, a bit further away from Santos, but in the same area, are a couple places called Madrugoa, Lapa, Lapa a bit less, Estrela, and yeah, you could say Santos. Yeah, you could say Santos. Yeah, basically tons of nice restaurants scattered all over, just everywhere. I mean, so many, and just I can think of. There's Mexican, which is good. There is what's the other? Greek food, amazing, wonderful food, really. Tons of Portuguese restaurants, some good ones. Meat places specializing in meat, Brazilian, fish stores, like cheap places, nice ones. I mean, tons and tons of great restaurants all along in that area. And then in Bajualto, there's some restaurants. Very touristic, very, very, very touristic, but I've had good food there. I've been to some of these restaurants and they're good. But yeah, those are a bit more homogenous, a bit more standard Portuguese. You get your meat, you get your fish, potatoes, your salad, French fries everywhere, very greasy and fried, pretty much everywhere. Some vegetarian though. There are some vegetarian restaurants. Oh, tons of Italian. Lots of nice Italian restaurants too. But I mean, I'm a bit biased. I've got the Italian taking me to Italian restaurants sometimes, and then otherwise, a bit as a general atmosphere, at least I can say that it's not aggressive. I mean, it's way, way too crowded in some of these places, and they're a bit annoying because many of them are quite young, and they're just obnoxious. But it's not. It's very rarely an aggressive sensation. Oh, and I almost forgot. Okay, so the Alfama, which is like the heart, like the oldest Lisbon neighborhood. I mean, the Alfama is, especially the street Rua das Farmácias, the pharmacy street, the pharmacies street, has a lot of nice places, and then there's where you can hear traditional Portuguese music, have your aguardente, love that stuff. Um, Yeah, Alfama has lots of great options for music, for restaurants, for just to have drinks, hang out with friends. It's a good place. Honestly, Alfama is not bad. I like Alfama to go out. It's just, well, I mean, what I was complaining about with Baihualtu is that Alfama has it's a complete labyrinth. It's very difficult to navigate, know really where you are. It's very easy to get lost. And even though Lisbon is a small town, and Alfama isn't so huge, um, it's I've been living in Lisbon for 4 years, and I go there every year, and I'm always finding new streets and new things and things I hadn't seen before, and you know, it's probably the part of Lisbon, center downtown Lisbon, that I don't know. I know the least. So, but Alfama's not bad. Alfama's quite nice in a lot of ways. So Alfama, I mean, depending on what you like, depending on what you want, Alfama is quieter than Bagualdo. However, in June, Alfama has how do you say it? They have a patron saint in Lisbon called São, Santo Antonio. So they celebrate the saint by drinking sangria and eating a lot of sardines every June, and it is wonderful, really. So, yeah, honestly, Lisbon has good nightlife. I think I started this video by saying it was all terrible. It's because I was thinking of Bagualto. Bagualto to me is just no. The rest, honestly, depending what you're looking for. I mean, even Bagualto, depending what you're looking for, it's plenty of options available. Similar tasting foods, and all the beer is the same. But it's cheap, basically everywhere. There's a bit of something for everyone. So I give it a. If I had to rate it out of 5, I'd say Lisbon nightlife. Seeing nightlife in other places in Portugal, Berlin, Paris, London, Hamburg. I would say that Lisbon would get for nightlife maybe 3.5 on a good night. Not more. Not more.